everybody. Thanks for having me. I'm Carla Lemon with Little Peanut on the Go. Prior to becoming an entrepreneur over the last few months, I have a background of product management of software applications. So how many parents do we have here today? Okay, do you remember?
44, 46, and 48.
Do you have grandchildren? All right, perfect. So do you remember what it was like to go places before you had kids? It was easy, right? You just went somewhere. Then the baby arrived and suddenly you had all this stuff that you had to keep track of and bring with you everywhere you went. If you were like me, you made lists so that you could keep track of everything. Then if you wanted to go anywhere by yourself, you had to make more lists. Emergency contact information, medical information, how to take care of the baby, and leave all that with the sitter. And you had to make those lists every time you left your child. You're probably still making some of those lists today if you have younger kids. So now you can get rid of all the lists on your fridge and notes on your counter and replace them with Little Peanut on the Go. It's a mobile app to help parents organize for outings. So parents can build packing lists and to-do lists. They can also create emergency contact information and care instructions and schedules that they can share with the caregiver, so the nanny, the sitter, the grandparent who's taking care of the child. And they can also connect with their children while they're away. We didn't have the right cable to get the iPhone up on the screen to do an actual demo, so I have some screenshots. When a parent first uses the app, they create their family, so they enter the parents along with contact information and addresses, the children along with any pertinent information like allergies or medical conditions. Then they enter the emergency contacts, doctors, dentists, medical facilities, along with names, addresses, and phone numbers. And then off the bottom of the screen, they also enter their caregivers, so the sitters, the nannies, or relatives who take care of the children. Then they create the daily care schedule for the kids, so everything that happens on a common day, bottles, bath times, meal times, nap times, bed times, medications, all those things that repeat every day. Everything is listed by child. The parent can enter notes and details into each item. And now the parent is pretty well set. All that stuff that they always write down for the sitter is now here in the daily care schedule and that emergency info page. And now they can share that with any caregiver at any time. And they never have to write another list. The next step for the parent is to create a plan. A plan could be a date night, it could be a family vacation, it could be the kids' time at the grandparents', it could be a work week. It's any time when a parent needs a sitter or a suitcase. They create the plan and they assign the children that are involved in that plan along with the time frame of that plan. Then they can do a number of things inside the plan. First off, they can create a packing list for the kids. There's a library of items already in the app, so once you start typing an item, like a sweatshirt, you'll probably find it. It'll pop up for you. You can assign it to the right children. You can add notes and reminders. If you can't find your item, you can also create a new item as well. Everything is categorized. It's listed by child. You can filter the list by child. And then when you pack, you just check off the item and it's moved down to the packed list. Parents can also create a to-do list, so all the things that they need to do before the outing, and that works basically the same way as the packing list. Then they have the care schedule. Now that common day that I created automatically populates every day of this plan's time period. So the vast majority of the parents' work is already done. They just have to add in special events, things like swimming lessons or soccer practice. Again, everything is laid out by child. There's notes and information inside the items as well for the caregiver. So now the parent's ready to go. They've got their care schedule done, the to-do list is done, the packing list is done, and now they need to share this information with the caregiver. So they just tap Share Plan. Their list of caregivers will come up. They select the caregiver for this particular plan. And then that caregiver is notified in their app, hey, you have a new plan from this parent. And when they open up that plan, they'll have the emergency contact information, they'll have the care schedule, they even have a copy of the packing list, so if the kids are staying with the caregiver, they can pack everything back up and send it back home. This is where the revenue piece comes in as well. To share information with a caregiver, the parent does pay a one-time in-app purchase of $3.99. That might change to a subscription model over time, but for now it's just a one-time in-app purchase. The other thing that the caregiver can do is communicate with the parent inside that plan. So no matter where the parent is, maybe they're in a different time zone, maybe they can't get on the phone or text at the right time, they always have this private message board where notes and pictures can be exchanged between the parents and the kids. So Little Peanut on the Go provides parents with comfort in that they know that their children's caregivers have all the right information at their fingertips. Parents can be confident they're prepared for any outing with the packing lists and the to-do lists. They have the convenience of being able to share this information with any caregiver at any time, and they have that connection to their children while they're away. The thing that I really love about the app is that I don't have to write anything down anymore. I've had several new sitters over the last few months, and I haven't written down a thing. These people come into my home, they've never been there, they've never taken care of my child, but all I do is add them to the app, share a plan with them, and they know exactly what to do and how to take care of my son, which is amazing to me. The app is available for both iOS and Android. I didn't program it, but my developer used Xamarin. It's a hybrid platform, so basically that means you code once, test twice, and you get 2 apps out of it. I could have also gotten a Windows app out of that process, but I chose not to do that at this time. I've gotten a decent amount of publicity locally. Started about a year ago with applying for Mob Demo, which is a mobile application competition, part of MobCon, which is a mobile technology conference here locally. I ended up winning Mob Demo, which gave me prize money, which was development dollars at a local development firm, which helped me get the app off the ground. I've had several articles published locally. I was also on Rudy Max's World, which is a global travel radio show, and I did a small crowdfunding campaign on Plum Alley, which is a crowdfunding platform for women entrepreneurs. I've slowly, so there is a me in team. There might not be an I in team, but there's a me in team, and the team is me. So I've been slowly reaching out to bloggers over the last few months, travel bloggers, mom bloggers, tech bloggers, in hopes of them using the app and writing about it in their blogs, getting word out that way. I've been successful with a few of them, and I continue to do that. But that brings me to the crux of the question here. I think all entrepreneurs want to know how to increase revenue, but for me, there's 2 questions that back into that, which is I need to increase downloads, but I need to get the word out about the app. So that's the biggest question for me, is how to more easily get word out about the app when I'm a one-person team, in order to get more downloads, in order to increase revenue. So thank you, everybody. Tell everybody you know, or all parents you know, about Little Peanut on the Go, all grandparents, all nannies, and help me get the word out. Thank you.
Thank you, Carla. I think you have a really great business idea there. Are there any questions in the audience? I'd like to bring the microphone to you. Cliff, you were first.
Yeah.
To get the word out, have you contacted a lot of the magazines like Parents Magazines? And what have they said then?
They don't say anything, they just don't respond.
Oh.
So there was a press release done as part of the winning the competition last year. I had a little bit of PR help, and there was a press release done, and it was sent to publications like Parents Magazine and so forth. It hasn't gone very far. I will be recontacting everybody again, though, as time goes on.
Carla, just a suggestion. You should, on this last slide, have your contact information.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Yep. Thank you.
I was just wondering, excuse me, how many customers or how many downloads have you got so far?
I'm about at 1,000 downloads at this point with pretty minimal marketing. I've done a few paid sponsored posts through some of the city moms blog network across the country. I don't have a lot of marketing dollars, so I'm trying to pick and choose as I go. But
And how about social media? Are you on Twitter, Facebook?
Twitter,
LinkedIn,
Facebook,
all those things?
Instagram, Pinterest. Yeah, mostly Twitter and Facebook. I'm trying to up my presence on Instagram. That's my next focus. Pinterest, I don't think, is the right avenue, but Instagram needs to be my next avenue.
I'm on Play Store right now, and there are a lot of apps that say that they deliver something like this. What's unique about yours, and what's proprietary about the technology that makes it unique?
The uniqueness is really the gathering of all this ability into one app. I talked to a lot of people while I was thinking about the idea and developing it, and I kept waiting for somebody to say, oh, I use such and such for that. Nobody has ever said that to me at this point. So there are packing apps, and there are to-do lists apps, and there are apps to help me with family schedules, but there's no app that helps me communicate with my babysitter and help me plan for all of this in one.
I would dial that up.
Sure.
Pitch. That'd be the first thing out there is, hey, you're a mom, and you came up with this idea because nothing else out there offered it.
Sure.
And it brings together the best of a lot of other offerings out there.
Okay, thank you.
There are a lot of moms out there. Have you zeroed in on who's your most likely customer, your demographic?
It's a relatively new mom, so someone who has a newborn up to about the age of 3, because that's when you're really overwhelmed with things. That's when the child is changing very rapidly. I know when my son was a baby, that schedule that I wrote down and all the details I wrote down, it was changing every 6 to 8 weeks, because what he was drinking in his bottle was getting bigger. His nap times were changing. So it's that 0 to 3 age group. Yeah.
And working moms, I trust. that
Working
are
moms
most
as well.
benefit,
Yeah, not
and-
so much the stay-at-home mom, but the working mom, especially those who travel on business as well.
And moms generally are a little bit older now than they used to be.
Yeah.
Is there an age group most likely? I mean,
I-
young millennials versus?
Yeah, I think
upper
you can,
30s?
I can see how it's skewing based on who's downloading the app. I'm an older mom myself. The older moms don't necessarily use the apps as much as the younger moms. So it's more the 20s and 30s age group. Yeah. Yeah.
A couple questions. Do you know if any of the caregivers have this capability? The big networks at daycare centers or anything?
There is an app that has some of this functionality specifically for daycares, and I don't know if you had children in daycares or if you know how that process works, but when the kids are very young, there's a daily slip that comes home that tells the parent when they ate, when their diaper was changed, what they did, when they slept, and there's an app that replaces that piece of paper. It's not necessarily for the babysitting and for use at home, but there is something for larger daycare centers.
So have you considered marketing this directly to daycare providers as a value add for them?
I
and
think
also-
this would be more towards like the home provider daycare, and I haven't targeted that yet, mostly because, again, I'm one person and I'm spreading myself really thin. I also don't know how to get to them efficiently. If there's some sort of organization for home daycare providers, I haven't looked into that yet. Yeah.
One place that new parents are bound to be found is in the hospital environment. Have you
True.
talked about, maybe even having a flyer? I know Procter & Gamble has, diaper flyers
Right.
ready to hand to
Coupons
those new parents. Maybe that's an approach.
I haven't thought about that. Well, I shouldn't say I haven't thought about it. I haven't pursued it, but I am talking to a couple of local, how shall I say, childbirth helpers, like doulas. And there is one so far who has agreed to include my information in her packets to her parents.
Yeah, those new parents are just so vulnerable.
They're ripe. Yeah.
They're ripe.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. They don't know what's about to hit them.
That is also a negative because then they don't know that they need this.
Right. It goes both ways.
Does the home care provider have to have the app as well to receive the list? So do both ends and both
Yeah.
ends both parties have to have the app downloaded? You're not able to export it like to an email to send to them.
So to get the full experience, they do have to have the app, but like my parents are in their 80s and they don't use smartphones, so there is an email capability, so I can email the information to them.
Okay, because I was going to say if the end user from the home care provider side has to be downloading the app, and especially this seems like there's a lot of value on the babysitting side. I know that new parents have a lot of struggles with trying to coordinate babysitters, possibly marketing towards the younger demographic of babysitter network as well.
Right.
You know, Snapchat, Instagram would be great ways to, I think,
Get
promote
there.
that with the younger audience.
Yep, okay, thank you.
Have you done anything on YouTube yet? Made a video with some friends?
I have more of a marketing video that tells the story of how I came up with the idea and then has a demo of the app. So there's a presence there. I wouldn't say it's utilized to the fullest effect yet.
Yeah, I think it would be fun to do something with a breakdown, where you show the breakdown without a list and all the little pieces of paper or all
Yep,
the notes, and
sure.
then do that. Also, Le Mans classes. You know, I heard you mention the doula. That if you could get in with Le Mans classes, so you're actually ahead of the curve.
Right,
No pun intended.
good idea.
So I would fit the demographic that I have my first baby on the way in January.
Congratulations.
Yeah, and I'm in Plymouth too, where I saw.
Yep.
So I'm wondering, with the $3.99, is that if you share each time you share?
One time.
Let's say it's a new caregiver.
No, so the parent purchases that in-app purchase, and it upgrades their app, and now they have the capability to share as many times as they want with as many caregivers as they want.
And with, how would you go to a subscription model?
An annual fee. Just you're a user, it's going to cost, I don't know, $5, $10 a year to have this capability.
Okay.
I haven't
And,
thought much through it yet.
Yeah, I know my wife is in a lot of Facebook groups, these mom groups. Have you looked into those?
I'm in a couple of them. I'm perchance not in the right ones because they aren't necessarily built towards me talking about my business into the group. So if there's a particular one that you think is the right one, I'd certainly be open to hearing about it.
And the other thing is down the road too, if you ever wanted to look into this type of strategy, I see this as something that could work in like the long-term care space.
Yeah.
So, yeah, grandparents are there going for the first time and
Yeah.
new nurses.
Yeah, there are very definite applications for this in other markets.
Have you approached churches at all? Because churches have temporary daycare situations that they're very concerned about from security
Right.
reasons and everything else, especially the very large churches.
I haven't, again, just because it's,
You're all by yourself.
yeah. If there was just this magic button I could push to distribute information to everybody at the same time, I'd be all over it. I am, yeah, yeah.
Mega church there that you tested?
There is the one where my son went to daycare at, and we have worked with that church, yeah. Yep, yep,
You probably get a lot of good feedback
yeah,
from the testing.
right, right.
So just a quick question and a comment. Actually, two comments. Number one, where was this 10 years ago when I had my first child?
I don't think you had a smartphone.
Yeah, no, the list was a blackboard with a chalk.
Right.
Anyway, no. So first thought is you had mentioned that you were kind of saying, oh, Pinterest doesn't really fit the demographic. For the amount of time that my wife spends on Pinterest looking for stuff for our kids, I don't know if your research has said that or not, but my gut says Pinterest might not be a bad place to be. Again, I don't know what your research has shown, but if my wife is any indication, there's an audience there. The other comment I would make, or the question I would have is, you talked about being on Facebook, you talked about being on Twitter and moving in Instagram. What kind of content are you putting out there? What are you doing to draw people to you?
So the first avenue was the travel angle. because it's the free download and you can do the packing list, that's the easy way to get to people. So taking that travel angle and giving ideas for family travel, vacations, how to travel with your children. The second angle is date night. So date night ideas, getting out with your partner, leaving the kids at home, tips for using a babysitter. So it's kind of a little bit of all of that.
So are you blogging that, or are you just making posts, or?
It's a little of all of that. A lot of content curation as well. So I curate a lot of content from travel bloggers, the large, like care.com, college nannies and tutors. I curate a lot of that content and reuse it through Facebook and Twitter. And then I write some of my own as well.
Great, thank you.
Andy.
So it sounds like from the marketing front, you need more boots on the ground. Meaning
What was
you don't
that?
have- From the marketing front, it seems like you're saying it's just you, so you can't really get out there and market. Have you
Right.
thought about going to like McAllister, St. Thomas, and bringing on some interns? They work
I
for free.
haven't, no.
I mean, I think a lot of people forget to do that. They're begging for people at McAllister right now
Okay.
to take on interns for the spring.
Okay.
So that might be something you want to look at. Some marketing students come in and start trying to.
Are they paid or unpaid?
They can be either.
Bonus.
Or somewhere in between.
Yeah.
Hi there, current St. Thomas student. There are
Okay.
a ton of unpaid internships.
Okay.
All of the students are begging, so it's a great avenue.
All right.
Great idea.
Is there a particular contact I should go after?
Let's connect.
Okay.
Second comment, fantastic idea.
Thank
It's
you.
wonderful, wonderful idea. Thinking of big picture, do you see a lot of payment processing through this app? A lot of times that I've personally seen babysitters, you have struggles trying to get the right payments to the right people. Do you see like a calendar system or where you can directly pay the babysitters from that app?
Yep, that's part of the long-term
That's your
look.
rock? Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, that was brought up to me actually during the app competition a year ago. Somebody came up to me and suggested that, and I heard it from other people while I was thinking about the idea as well.
Fantastic idea.
Yep, thank you.
Do we have any other questions?
All right, so you said that in order to share it with anyone, that's when you have to pay. You have to upgrade your. Have you thought about offering like share it with one person as part of the free download? Let them wet their whistle and understand. Hey, you're getting experience with it. So you
Yeah.
know what? I like this. I like how it works. And now I've got more babysitters. I want to share it with more people. So I'm gonna to do 2 or more. I need to upgrade because I think
Yeah.
you have a barrier to entry there, and someone's like, well, I don't even know what sharing this is really going to do. Like what that looks like, what the experience is going to be. If you allow them to do it with one person, and they're like, hey, this works. This is great.
During the development process, the plan was to allow a free trial and then have them pay, but it was a decision I made that maybe was the wrong decision. It was going to cost X amount of dollars to get that ability done, so I chose not to do it. It was a funding decision at the time, and it may be hurting me now. So, yeah, I thought about it, had it in the plan, and then didn't do it.
What sort of security have you thought of for this product? You're handing, people are handing secure information, private information to another person. Does it go just to that one person, or can that person share with another person?
No, it's, think of a plan as a folder. And when I share it with the babysitter, I'm giving you a folder. And at the end of that plan's time period, that folder explodes. Yeah, you don't have it anymore.
Back when my daughters were both babysitters, they both went through Red Cross training, and it was a big, feather in their cap to tell potential clients that they've gone through Red Cross training. I'm not sure if they still have that, or if it's beefed up at all, but that might be a good opportunity to introduce your product, and maybe an enterprising babysitter may introduce it to multiple customers. So
I hadn't thought of that at all. Thank you.
That was
Yours?
as well.
Okay.
Instead of focusing from the parent to the caregiver, if you can focus on the caregiver.
And work it back, yeah, yeah. And I am talking to one of those large nanny providers about using the app as their tool internally. So I've got them thinking about it at this point.
I would be more aggressive about that, even to the point where you pay the nanny every time she shares the app. You know, it's a little bit of marketing
Sure.
and sales expenses, but
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good idea.
I'm going to, on the gentleman in the back there, take his idea a little bit further, and why not charge 99 cents for the app to begin with, and then have the ability to share it with one person? Did you look at that?
So, now that the app is out there and it's a free download, you can't switch it to a paid app. So again, potentially a mistake I made in the beginning, but I wanted it to be a free download to get it on the phones, and then, because it's brand new, nobody knows about it, make it free, but might have been a mistake a mistake in my judgment, so.
And I know this is kind of a marketing question, you're only one person, but have you thought of partnering with somebody or companies, approaching companies that might have a similar demographic? For instance, I think in terms of automobiles, you know, the SUV is out there because of new moms, you know.
Right.
So it seems to me like somebody might be interested in saying, wow, this is a great opportunity for me to do something for my potential clients too.
Sure. Yep.
So it could be auto company as an example. But somebody else with the same demographic as you, then you could be a value-added service to them.
Sure, yep. So I have a partnership with a travel agent in Ohio, actually, who is developing I don't know how to describe it, but like a full-service travel service, long-term for families. She's going to be offering Little Peanut on the Go as part of that service. So I am trying to branch out into different partnership ideas. We also started a local business networking group for businesses focused on kids and families. Just started a few months ago, but we're all trying to start to work together to kind of co-market and get our offerings out to a larger audience. Yeah. It's a lot of little pieces.
You may have mentioned this. What have your development costs been, and what's the barriers to grow this thing financially?
Development of an app is a lot more than people think. I don't want to go into specifics about how much it costs, but to change it and morph it and grow it into other markets, it's not just copy and paste. I mean, it does take quite a lot of funding. So at this point, barriers to changing and morphing is funding, and I haven't gone out to get any at this point either, which is something I need to do. What?
Do you have any plans for that?
Not definite. It's something I may consider next year. If this was a personal investment along with the funding from the competition, so we'll see where it goes.
How did you ascertain there was a need for what you're doing?
Friends, families, people at the daycare, people I met, friends of my son's parents, just a whole community of parents, as well as talking to other babysitters and grandparents too.
And have you found customers? Have you found a market for the need?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, every parent who hears about it, especially if they have a 0 to 3-year-old at home, just absolutely loves the idea.
Thank you.
So it seems that's the questions. Any more questions today? The last question we always like to ask our presenters, which you've already put out there, is how our community can help you.
Just getting the word out, any way, shape, or form is very helpful. I'd appreciate it.
Well, great, Carla. Thank you very much.
Thank you.